Alright everybody, Scott from the Road Roamers. In today's video, I'm going to go over a repair that I'm going to have to do on the back, what I call sail panels. They're the very thin panels in the very back rear corner of the RV. They're very thin, and it was a problem. Actually, it happened on both sides of this RV. And I think it's a problem with the earlier Alliance Avenues. The 32 RLS is what I have specifically, but I'm assuming that there may be others out there that are just the mid-profile avenues that were built early on that could have the same problem. So if yours hasn't done it yet, I'll show you what you can do to prevent it from happening. It's really, really simple. I should have done it to mine. I didn't think that once the first one did it, I didn't think the second one would do it. And I'll show you what I did to repair it when we return. Alright guys, this is actually what it looks like when it happens. As you can see, this here is not damaged. So it wasn't like anyone backed into it or anything like that. What it was is air gets underneath here when you're traveling down the road. It goes underneath this little section. And what it does is air builds up and blows it right out. Just billows it out. All right, time out, time out, time out. I need to stop during our regularly scheduled program and talk to you about something that is a little bit upsetting. So I had originally thought that the reason that this was being blown out here is because of air. I thought air was getting underneath there and blowing it all out. That was my bad for not doing research more, but also Alliance actually sent us this brand new panels, and they didn't tell us the fact that it was not the air blowing underneath there. We had to find this out on our own the hard way. So after I got this whole job completely done, we drove to our next campsite, and it wasn't that long of a drive to the next campsite, and it wasn't even that bumpy to the next campsite. But when I got there, this is what I noticed, is a dent in this area right here that was pushed out. Now, what's causing this dent to push out, I realized something that I didn't know. Amy had done some research and found out what's happening to these is this whole back wall here, because this wall right here extends down, right down through here, okay? And when you look underneath right here, you'll see that this wall comes down here, and what happens is this whole wall in the back of this RV is basically loose from the floor of the RV. So because it's attached to the floor, the whole wall is shifting back and forth when you're going down the road, and because of that, it's causing this, and because of that, it caused the original ones to push out. Now, Alliance didn't tell me that when they sent me the new panels, so I had no way of knowing that that was what was happening. So what I will do is actually link at the end of this video a repair of how I actually fixed the wall from shifting back and forth. So we'll continue the rest of this video so you can see how I actually made the repair, but it is definitely not wind. It is definitely the wall sliding back and forth, if you can believe it or not. And so to get this out, it's really not that difficult. There's one screw here. This whole panel slides up underneath here. On the other side, you'll see I took this all out. You don't have to do that, okay? I did run a razor blade on this section here, just real close to this. Be very careful right here. Just run a nice razor blade right there. Because what you're gonna do, you take this screw off. There's a little rubber that goes it's like a little channel that covers over the screws. You're gonna just pull that out and expose these screws, and you can take those screws out. That way, I took them all the way out to up here so that I can pull this away and I can slide this whole panel out. This here is just gonna had to be cut with a razor knife. And then under here, there's actually, if you can see this, underneath this edge right here, there is a little screw right there. You take that screw off, okay? And then I'll come around the other side and show you what really had to be done. Is once that screws off, then this has a little plastic channel that this rubber fits into, okay? And that it's going to be tricky getting it back on for sure, because all it is plastic. There's not much holding it. So this is actually, I took some screws out all the way up to here, and then that's what actually screwed onto the metal sail panel. There was one little screw attached to this little flimsy bar, and that's what holds the sail panel from going in and out. Okay, I did have to cut some wires. I've already been here before because I actually installed some rear lights on this. I can do that in another video. I actually installed some extra lights because when you're in the back of this thing, when you got your bikes on, somebody's over here, they can't see that light. Well, they can't see this one either, but actually they can see it right here, and they can see it over here. Okay, same with this one here. They're on this side. That light actually shows up. So I did install some extra LED lights higher up, and so that's what all this wiring is here. They didn't put any quick connections so that you could take these lights out. So I took the 2 screws out of the panel, and then I actually just cut the wires. And I'm gonna put a nice connector with lead that melts right around the wires. I can show you that after. Okay, so this is the panel. I've already marked it out. As you can see, I marked out the place for the hole. This is the old one. They did make a nice hole saw cut here, but here's where you can see it was all bent. I straightened it out kind of a little bit because I wanted to lay the new one. I wanted to lay the new one out. I laid the new one out, and I put the old one right on top, like this. Laid it out, something like that. This here, I wanted to make it a little bit longer so that it would fit in a little bit tighter. So I went about a 1/4 inch longer than the actual old panel. Clamped it, and then I marked it all so that I would have the hole, so I can drill a hole through there and know exactly where the holes line up. This right here is for the hole that goes through when you lower down the spare tire in the back. Right here I have this little thing that's going to actually go inside. The one that came on it was just a flimsy little rubber piece. They've actually made a nice plastic. You actually need a 2-inch hole saw to cut the hole for this. So I'll cut it from the behind, and just drill like a 1/4 inch hole through here. Not that big a deal. 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch hole through there for the wires to go through. All right. I'll drill these other 2 holes here when I actually put the light up there, and I'll just drill holes through where the light is, and easy peasy. All right, so I'm going to take this that I've already prepped with the hole, and the hole for the light wires, and I'm going to slide it up in there now. What has to happen is I'm going to get that up in there, and then this is going to actually go underneath. I'll drill a hole through, and that'll actually, I don't know if that's going to fit. Yeah, barely. Okay, so that'll go in there. I'll drill a hole through there, attach that. What I want to do is get this up in here like that. You gotta start from here like that. For some reason, there it goes. It's up in. All right. Then I'm going to pull this way and then push it that way, so that I have as much metal in here as I can. That's enough to attach to there. Perfect. All right, so I have a screw already here. It's a self-drilling. It's already been in there once. And that'll hold it all up in there so it doesn't fall down now. Okay, now what I've done is I've actually pre-drilled 4 holes bigger than this. So in other words, these will just slide right through. And the reason I did that is I want it to pull up nice and tight. I'm going to put some silicone in here now, and then I'm going to put this up there, and I'm going to drill some smaller holes with this drill bit. That'll be the perfect size for the screw to go into. These are 4 stainless steel screws that I got at Lowe's with black heads on them. Alright, pull this away a little bit. I'll put a nice bead right along the edge inside. See, because before what happened is they didn't really put much silicone or anything in here. There was no screws or anything on this end. There wasn't even a screw underneath the bottom here. Like, I'm gonna probably put a screw like under here to keep this end of it. There wasn't even a screw there. What I'm gonna do is squeeze this up against. I'm just gonna push that in best I can. There's a lot of meat there. I hope that screw goes in. Okay, so I'll put my Phillips in here, and then I'll put that screw through, pull it up where I had it. Oh, that pulled up nicely. All right, see how it squeezed out? Nice. I'll do the next one. Actually, I can do the other 3 holes now that I have it where I want it. I can drill the other 3 holes with the smaller drill bit. And as always, wear safety glasses. All right. If you have a Alliance Avenue that doesn't have any kind of a screws or anything in here, or maybe the new ones they urethaned them, but if they don't have screws, I would still put some in there to keep that from bulging back out again, because all it is just air. It wasn't attached to anything, as you can see. Perfect. I did there's a 3/16 hole on the outside for the screws themselves. They're number 8, I think 3/4 of an inch long, and I used a 7/32 drill, and it seems to be fine. It's going right in. Perfect. Right. That is good. And what I'll do is I am going to put one underneath. I'll drill a 7/32 hole underneath and put one more underneath there on this corner. I will put this in there like that. That'll hold that. And that'll be tight there. All right. I'll put these screws back in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go in there like that. Then this has to slip in that channel. It has a thing that goes around this little channel. Okay, there's a channel right here. Okay, this actually has to fit over and inside that channel. You kind of have to work it way back in there, and that's all. That's it. That's all that holds this. Think about this. All this really is. It's really just for looks. There's no structural. It's basically just for looks, and that's all it is. Have to clean this up a little bit here. This silicone that I got will dry really fast, and I don't want it to dry before I put a nice bead on there. What I do is I'll take some masking tape, and I will mask it off just a little distance from here. I'll mask it all off. I'll put some masking tape on here, and then I'll run a nice clean bead on there, and then just peel the masking tape off, and you won't even see it. Up here I'm going to do black, and I'm going to do black here. The other side I'm not going to have to do, I may have to touch up this one, but I'm not going to cut this one. I kind of made a mistake and cut that one, so I'm just going to put black on here. That'll cover that all up really nicely. You'll never see it. Yeah, look at how nice that looks. They're just little black screws with black screw heads, and it doesn't look bad. And yeah, and I'll basically hook the wires back up. I'll put the light back up here. Let's throw this back in here like this. I'll cut that wire off. Put this back in here, mark my 2 holes, and screw them, and then put those back in. All right, so I didn't think that the hole here needed to be very big, because literally you only have 2 wires, but I was wrong. This has a little neck right here. It's about that big, so it's not going to fit in there right. So I am going to have to figure out a way to make this hole a little bit bigger. I'm going to figure that out right now. All right, so I'm hoping this is going to actually make the hole a little bit bigger for me. We'll see what happens here. It works pretty good. I don't know if it's big enough yet.
Well, at least that fits through now.
Okay.
Almost.
Okay, so I have this little raspy tool. It's not ideal. What you should have probably is a step drill. Just keep going around the hole like that. Let's put it this way. It's cleaner than what Alliance had.
There you go.
There we go.
Fits right in there. Nice and tight.
That will do it. All right, so now what I gotta do is wire this all up. I'm gonna cut the wires, strip them back, and I'm gonna put these 2, they're heat shrink connectors. And what they do is you heat them up, and the solder inside puts the wires together. So we cut these wires back. Hopefully I can get the 2 wires into one. I'll cut those like that. The white goes to the white, and then these white with the green goes to the black light, black wire. I'll strip these back a ways, and then I'm gonna just wind them together. It won't quite need that much. All right, let me try this. This one here, I'm gonna go ways back and double back on it, double it up. I'm gonna fold it. I'm gonna twist it and then fold it in half. Fold it in half like that. This one here, it's like I can cut a little bit of the wire off. All right, now, trick is to get this over both of these. Oh, I did it. Okay, because what happens is it shrinks onto this right here. So that being there like that, it's over those two wires. Okay, I'm gonna bring this one in and touch that one. It'll meet in the middle, and we're just gonna put the heat gun on it. Put it on the highest temperature you can get. Careful not to burn your hands because it can get really hot. Sorry you won't get to see this because I got the heat gun in the way. And I've got to heat that up so it melts together. You'll see it get kind of shiny in the middle. Yeah. Put that back on cold. You don't want to leave it hot. Let it cool down. That should be a nice connection. I will have to hook the truck up and hook the power up to make sure I have a good connection before I tape everything back up. You don't really have to tape anything with these. They have the shrinks right down to the size of the wire. But where I put two wires in, I want to put some tape on there because I guess water could potentially get through there. Now let's pull on this. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Good tension there. That should be a good connection. All right, we'll do the same thing. Alright, so now we have power. That light is on. Go all the way to the back. And voila! The light is on. Alright, so I split this project up in 2 days. It was so hot. It's been in the 90s here in Florida. And I did the one side, that was the side with the hole that the tool that goes through for the spare. Today I'm doing the other side, and I wanted to go over some tools. I laid them all out, which is nice about having a project like this. I just left everything out that I used to do that side. So now you can take a look at what I have to see if that's something that you want to do and if you have the tools to do it. Alright, so here is what I used on the project, and I'll explain everything as I go. Alright. So I will need the black urethane. It's acrylic urethane elastomers sealant and some masking tape. I do need the heat gun. That is for when I shrink wrap the connections for the wires. I'll show you that in a second. Clear silicone, wire ties, vice grips would be handy. I do have my tool for making the hole for the light a little bit bigger. You're going to need a regular Phillips tip. I have two shrinking connectors. They have the solder already in the middle of the connectors. So you just put the two wires in and you heat them up with the heat gun. Some stainless steel screws with black heads. Some electrical tape. a 3/16 drill and a 7/32 drill. Also, I have my drill, and you also have some weather strip that I wanted to add a little weather strip underneath there, and that's what that's for. Wire strippers, a nice cutting tool, and some cutters for cutting off the wire ties when you're done. Also, something to kneel on. This is actually pretty nice. And I also have this really nifty little, you want to demonstrate that for me? Get down there. It's actually in a loop, like a roll.
And it
And then you
goes.
can just kind of like slide back on it. Go ahead, keep sliding. Yeah, you slide right back on it. And it goes right flat on the ground.
Yep.
It's really nice.
Compact when you travel.
All right, let me go over to where the other tools are that I have for this job. When I take the panel off, I have a rubber hammer. I can just lay it on the ground to straighten out so that it's flat when I lay it over the new one. This is to clean up around the hole when you put a hole through the thin aluminum. And a cutter in case I got to cut it shorter. A couple of nice little handy clamps and something to mark the project out if you have to cut the panel short. All right. I did want to give a little shout out. If you're looking to do a project like this, keep it inexpensive and buy just like this little 5-piece Vulcan set. I don't even, this was at a hardware store, local hardware store here in Celebration. But other than that, I would, I wouldn't get something real super expensive. I could have spent a lot more money, paid separately for this arbor. Got a really nice one made for metal. This one's for wood and plastic, but it chewed right through that aluminum, thin aluminum, really easily. So don't spend a lot of money. And now you have some extras for later on. So that concludes the video repairing the rear lower panels on the Avenue. And like I said, if you have an Avenue, be sure to check to see if they put any screws or rivets back there, and that will keep it from popping out. Otherwise, you're gonna go through what I just went through. It's not the easiest repair, but it's not the hardest one either. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit the little bell below so you can get notifications of videos. Check out the channel and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. It'll really help the channel. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Call it a day and celebrate.